I think it's so interesting to always see these sticker ads on these newspapers. Maybe I should put newspaper liturgy stickers on all the newspapers in the stands, but that's illegal. One of you do it for me. Welcome to Newspaper Liturgy. My name is Damon Garcia. 7 countries. Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. All banned from coming to the United States through executive order of President Trump. Why? To protect us, apparently. If you remember, this ban was initially called the Muslim ban. And one of Trump's advisors, Rudy Giuliani, said that he had to figure out, how do we do this legally? We can't ban people by religion legally, but if we make it about danger, then we can do it. So apparently it's not necessarily a Muslim ban, but a ban to protect us from terrorists. Even though we've had 0 terrorist attacks from any of these countries since 1975. Most of them have come from Saudi Arabia, and Trump's detractors say, well, he didn't ban them because he has business with them. And Trump's advisors say, well, Saudi Arabia is changing, so that's why. And also, a lot of the recent terrorist attacks were from people born on US soil. There's a story of a mom just visiting her mom in one of these countries, and she can't come back to her family. She's stuck. So this is a very literal, strict ban, not just for the people who are citizens of those countries, but for even US citizens who happen to be in those countries and want to come back. And honestly, this is really hard for me as a Christian and as someone who takes the Bible seriously. The scriptures are filled, beginning to end, with scriptures about embracing the foreigner. The whole story begins with God freeing the Israelites from slavery and giving them a new calling to be a different kind of nation, completely different from where they came. And God says, your calling is to free people instead of enslave them like Egypt did to you. Your calling is to help the poor and needy instead of oppressing them like Egypt did to you. Your calling is to embrace all the foreigners because you yourself know what it was like to be a foreigner in the land of Egypt. And over time, the Israelites forget this calling, and when they don't take care of the poor and needy, when they don't embrace the foreigners, that is when God says, I warned you, and he kicks them out of the promised land. And then in the New Testament, Jesus comes to remind his people of their original calling. And one of my favorite passages in the whole Bible comes from Matthew 25, and Jesus is telling this story of people arriving at judgment after their death. And he gives us this image of a dialogue between Jesus and those who are to be judged. And he says, for I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. Then it says, then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? And the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these, brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So the work of the followers of Jesus are to feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, welcome in the stranger, no matter who that stranger is. And in doing that work, you are encountering the divine without even knowing it. Because realize, these people are absolutely surprised. They weren't doing it because they knew Jesus was to be encountered through these strangers and hungry and thirsty and homeless. They didn't know. Their reason for doing it was simply because the hungry were hungry, the thirsty were thirsty, and the strangers needed a home. And I know this is all to try to protect us. So this is all very hard for me as a Jesus follower to see this executive order take place. I understand Trump's intention is to narrow in on America's problems and deal with our problems before we deal with the rest of the world. And that makes sense because we have a lot of problems to deal with. But my hope is that he'll go all the way. And if we're not welcoming strangers right now, we could at least feed our hungry and our thirsty, and clothe our naked, and give home to our American homeless. I really hope we can at least do those things, since we're not welcoming all foreigners right now. We need a lot of work, and perhaps America has lost some of its greatness that needs to be gained back again. But once again, this is hard for me, because when I think of what makes America great, I think of the poem inscribed at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, called The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Let me read it. She says, "Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp," cries she with silent lips. "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." Can we make this poem our battle cry right now? I dream of a graceful America where we can all together with our Statue of Liberty cry out, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse. The wretched refuse. The garbage. Give us the trash of the world. They may not be welcome where they are, but they are welcome here." That is like the most Christ-like poem I've ever heard. And maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe we're all ignorant. Maybe there are a whole bunch of terrorists in all 7 of these countries that we really are being protected from. And if that's the case, and this is just gonna be how it is, then I encourage you to at least embrace the foreigners that are here. Embrace the people that aren't like you. Embrace the people that challenge your beliefs. Embrace the people that have less than you. Embrace them all. As Christians, we're called to be people of hospitality, and as Americans, we're called to be people of hospitality. I don't really know where to go from here, but I'm just trying to be as much like Jesus as I can in this crazy time. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.